Hey guys, Goresh here, back with some more Dragon Ball Legends discussion. This is actually a part two to a video that me and Dfree just recorded over on his channel, so make sure you check that out quickly. It took, yeah, it was a little bit long.
Yeah, you might want a snack or get comfortable.
Yeah, like maybe if you're at the gym or something, walking on the treadmill or running on the treadmill, it's something just to
Yeah,
listen to in the background for about an hour or so. So
yeah, about an hour, casually.
yeah,
I
so in
like how
that
you just threw that out there.
so in that video, we just talked about all the 9 new units that are coming out tonight, as of recording this video, on the Legends anniversary banners. There's actually two banners. We also break down the banners a little bit too. But in this video, I just want to talk about what sort of teams you can build with the new units. There's 9 of them, so I'm just going to sort of go through this relatively quickly, just considering that the first part was already really long, and I don't want you guys sitting here like literally watching a feature-length film of us talking about this. So just to go through what I have here, we're starting off with Golden Frieza, and he's interesting because, and just as a preference, we're going to be looking at the Z abilities for most of these. But what's interesting is that he actually buffs the Lineage of Evil tag as well as the Frieza Force tag. So why is that such a big deal?
Well, now these two tags can merge into one. It's always nice when there's double buffers because you bridge gaps, especially where Lineage of Evil also had units or Frieza Force had units that didn't actually have the Z ability to kind of be on the team together. Now he makes it work. For example, Final Form Frieza didn't really fit super well because yellow only. Now fits a lot better.
Yeah, and I think Golden Frieza's this ability is extremely valuable because, like you said, if you have these 4 units here, it wouldn't change the fact that you couldn't run this team because they're all different and they all have different Z abilities. So it would be sort of like meshing two teams that didn't work together well at all. But now with this Z ability, he buffs Strike and Blast Attack, which is probably the two best stats you could buff in certain situations. You can take like 3 of these guys and then this Golden Frieza, the Final Form Frieza, and even like something like this Broly, and make a team that is not too bad because Broly buffs the movies tag, and then what do you know? These units are from the movies. This unit's from the movie. This cooler is good too. He's from movies too. So eventually,
Golden Frieza isn't for the matter, just
yeah,
for the
yeah,
people
yeah.
wondering.
The Golden Frieza is actually classified as being from the Resurrection F saga from the anime. But that aside, I mean, this guy just makes it a lot more flexible to use the Lineage team and then the Frieza Force team together, and it opens up the tags just a lot more, in my opinion.
And then even if you don't use them together, they're both individually really good. Like Frieza Force picks up a really big weapon that they didn't have initially. The team felt like it was kind of mismatched. Those EXs are good, probably in need of a little bit of a buff statistically. But now with Frieza, there's something you pointed out, some good synergy between Zarbon and Frieza and Dorian Frieza or either Frieza or whatever the case is. And one day some of those other cards might get buffs, and this tag's starting to look a little better than it did
Yeah, and if you guys weren't aware, Legends doesn't really distinguish between different forms of units. So, for example,
at all.
Zarbon, he gives 50% to blast damage of character Frieza for 25 timer counts when his characters are switched. So, technically this is Golden Frieza and technically this is Final Form Frieza, but in the game itself, they're both classified as Frieza. So you could
An
run it.
easier way to explain that mechanic, I always like to do this one, is Kid Gohan versus like Future Gohan versus like Ultimate Gohan. The game classifies every single one as Gohan. So if you ever see anything say, oh, Gohan gets this or does that, it applies to literally every version of Gohan in existence. So yeah,
Yeah,
it applies to every other character too.
yeah. So even a team of like Golden Frieza, Final Form Frieza, and then this Zarbon could work very well too. But
Yep.
yeah, just a very flexible team overall. So moving
And
on.
that purple Vegeta might get a buff. Maybe he'll pick up Frieza Force.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd
Yeah,
be
interesting.
nice.
Yeah. And then moving on, this is the big one that's getting the most love this patch.
Oh, this team, it just looks so beautiful, man.
Yeah, I mean,
The blues and the reds look so pretty.
previous to this, we literally only had these 3
And
in
then
this,
Zamasu
and then
down there
Zamasu, who
somewhere.
doesn't even buff the tag. I mean, he's gone. You're not using Zamasu anymore. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really much to say about this tag other than the fact that
It's
you
the most aesthetically pleasing team in the game.
and
Look
you,
at that top row.
yeah, and you're gonna have to choose to sort of just boot one of these guys off the team. And I guess it ultimately just sort of comes down to who you have and who you don't have. Um,
Yeah.
but assuming you have all of these units, it's really hard to say because I mean, I haven't personally. I mean, these characters aren't even live in the game yet. I haven't tested them yet, but from what we're looking at, you're gonna want to run at least Goku, Vegeta, definitely Whis because he's absurd, and then this God Goku on your team.
God Goku has the best Z ability on the team.
Yeah, he buffs health and critical damage. Like if you come down
Is that
here,
he gets that outright, right? Oh, it's just
yeah,
health, which is still really good.
Yeah, he starts out with health, and then I think at 5 stars he gets critical.
Yeah.
But that's nuts. Like that is one of the best Z abilities in the game for a specific tag.
Yeah.
But then we come back here, and then the option is, like, do you want to run both Beeruses and exclude the Vegeta, or do you want to run the Vegeta and then maybe pick the EX Beerus over the Green Beerus? I will say that the EX Beerus' Z ability is not great. It's just blast.
It's just
damage.
blast attack.
Or blast attack. Yeah.
What's Vegeta's base? I think it's strike defense actually.
Is it strike defense? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's strike defense.
Yeah, it is, and he picks up the strike attack at 5 stars.
While the new Vegeta is strike attack base. So
yeah, it's sort of reversed.
Yeah. So, and Whis' blast defense.
Yeah, but you're gonna want to run Whis regardless, just because he literally rounds out the team so well.
Well, I was thinking though that if you don't run yellow Vegeta, you don't have any blast defense buffers at all on this team. Or strike defense buffers. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So you probably want a yellow Vegeta anyway.
Yeah, and then the question comes down to whether or not you want to run this Beerus, the Sparking Beerus, or the EX Beerus, right?
Yeah, you can make that trade-off. That doesn't really matter. I think Green Beerus, though, will ultimately be better, actually, coming off the switch from the Whis, because the equip, because Whis' buffs, and because this is also your spot, green. You don't have a green.
Yeah, and also something else to mention that Whis actually buffs Beerus' ultimate damage right here.
Which doesn't apply to yellow because he doesn't have one.
Yeah, so the new EX Beerus doesn't have an ultimate attack, because you can see here there's no ultimate attack. But if we go over to this Beerus, actually I think he's already open, but
he has an ultimate that destroys your whole hand,
and it does massive damage, and his equip also buffs the ultimate damage.
Also, Whis holds a green, and Beerus' power flick is pretty good.
Yeah,
bonus blast damage.
You can actually combo off of that.
Yeah, I think you run green.
And I think
that's fair.
Yeah, I was about to actually explain that too, because like Whis is one of the few cards in the game that holds a green card, and if we look at the blues, like this green card is nuts. Like restores own health by 10, ki by 30, and 20% damage inflicted. Like that is a nuts.
And then you have Vegeta who does a counter. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Vegeta's green card is literally just a counter to Blast Arts cards. So it's like basically sort of Janemba's has like an extra green card on the team.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
You can sort of just pick your poison with that. And then moving on.
You couldn't tell, Whis is like the best EX, I think, in the game. Is that fair to say?
I would put Whis within the top 5 units in the game overall.
Yeah, Whis is insanely good. And his stats aren't even EX stats. Like, you wouldn't think that they're... EXs have some of those crazy stats anyway, especially new ones. Like, EXs are literally just EX in title. They're actually sparking cards.
Yeah.
But Whis is nuts.
He's actually just his kid. Like you guys will if you're coming from the part 1 video, you guys already know, but it's actually absurd. And then just taking a look at the Saiyan tag, you can actually sort of go down a similar route with both the blues, and then instead of picking like those other those God Key tag buffers, you can actually just go something along the lines of like EX Raditz, maybe this Goku and the Shallot if you're more free to play and don't have those other tags, because that works perfectly fine. And then you could also do stuff like mixing, like if you guys are lucky enough to pull Super Vegeta, you can include him also, just because it doesn't matter, because if we look at his Z ability, it's buffing the fusion tag, but that doesn't matter because he's just so busted that he doesn't need to be buffing anyone else really.
Yeah.
I mean, Saiyan has a lot of generic buffers too. Like you can put stuff like this Super Saiyan Goku, this GT Goku on the team, because he has a double buff for Saiyans. Blast attack and strike defense, which is an amazing buff, and then stuff like this Goku and this.
Who's the inverse?
Yeah, these are all even though you don't see this guy as much anymore in actual battles, he is an all-time great Z ability bench unit, just because of this right here.
Yeah, double buff.
I think the same can be said for these two, right?
Yeah. Also, Tora has a double buff too.
So. Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine
it's the double blast. Yeah,
imagine having that. But yeah, I think out of all the tags we're going to be looking at, I mean, obviously Saiyan is the biggest, but it's also the most flexible in terms of like free to play options and what you can be running, because even stuff like we don't have a super specific I mean, we have Super Saiyan right here, so we can just sort of talk about that now. But even just a Super Saiyan Bardock, you can sort of just throw him on this team with Super Vegito, and that's literally all you need. You could just put a bunch of support units after that too, and they'll just sort of like destroy everything together.
Imagine Super Vegito coming off a switch from the Bardock just cause.
With all the crit and stuff. Yeah, it's actually just absurd. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. So that's that.
That combo shouldn't be allowed at all.
Yeah, it's actually gonna be nutty.
Oh man.
And now we have the Fusion Warrior Z ability. This is sort of like God Key in that it wasn't really too rounded out prior to this anniversary, because yeah, we had these 5, and the team was good, but
no, for context, just a couple months ago there was only 2 units in that whole list.
Yeah.
The first 4 and the green Gotenks are relatively new.
Yeah, these are all new. Like, the team was literally used to, even before the green Gotenks too. The team was literally just these 2.
Yeah,
the Gogeta and the Gotenks.
This is a fairly new team that they clearly built heading into the anniversary, knowing they were going to drop this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you guys are going to have this, but look at that. Like, this is by itself the best Z ability in the game, and it's not even close. Like
yeah, triple buff.
The free Vegito Z ability is also nuts at 7 stars, but this last part only buffs Vegito. And like, this buffs every single one on every single character on Fusion.
Man, imagine having Super Vegito and Free Vegito 7-star. God, man.
Yeah, you beat the game if that happens.
Oh my god.
I mean, you could also, because if you have him at 7 stars, you also have Gotenks buffing health too.
Yeah,
right?
you stack health. That's a lot.
I mean,
yeah, Gotenks starts off as fusions, and then if you get him 5-star, he's hybrid.
He's hybrids, yeah. I mean, 18% to tag Fusion Warrior health is just already by itself really good. I mean, this team is nuts. Like, I'm really excited to see where this goes in the future too.
The cool thing about this team too is some of you guys probably have pulled Gotenks purple a lot. He's a double attack buffer, and then the 2 Gogetas are either blast attack and defense, or strike attack and defense. So this team has some really good synergy.
People like to talk down on this guy a lot, and I understand why, because he's not that great in battle, but as a bench unit, he has one of the best Z abilities for this team, for sure.
Yeah, that's a wild Z ability.
Yeah.
Like, automatic, I think it's one of the better ones you can even have, so
yeah,
he makes his way on the team.
All right, so that's, not too complex, but, just something to think about, obviously.
It's just, that team is just a team that you just look at the top 6, basically, and it's like, oh, yeah, I'll just use those. So
yeah, and then this is also something else to talk about quickly. I mean, the only new unit coming into this tag is the Super Saiyan Blue Goku. And yeah, we already have 3 blue units that buff the tag, so it's a pretty blue-heavy team, but what are your thoughts about possibly including this guy on the Sun Family team?
I think it works because you do need a Goku for the Gohan if you want the most out of the Gohan anyway.
Right.
And if we go to the Goku's kit really quick, click on. I think Goku actually synergizes pretty well with that because of the starter buffs. He actually is able to take reduced damage, and then as the battle goes on, gets a lot better.
Right.
So I think he fits pretty well. And then also, of course, having an ultimate and all that stuff. I will say, though, that I don't think that he's necessary at all. I think his best team would be God Key.
Yeah.
I don't think he's necessary here.
But I mean, I know a lot of people pulled on the family Kamehameha step-up banner just for like these 3 units here. And I feel like
he works great with Gohan because Gohan needs a Goku too, the other one.
Yeah, you mean this one? Or no, this one. Yeah.
Either. Yeah, they both need a Goku.
Yeah. So he's always a solid. I mean, just by himself, like he's an exceptional unit. So you could just slap him on the team and he'll be good. The only issue is that he won't be buffing anybody.
What you can do, I guess, is go Sun Family Blue color counter.
Yeah,
you can run those 4, put another blue bench unit, and then go 10. That works.
Go 10 as the counter to green. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, another bench blue like 18 or Krillin or somebody.
Yeah, or even just like Pan.
Well, yeah. You can go the Goku, Kaioken Goku, Gohan, Pan, and then another blue or something.
Yeah, that's true. You could do that. Maybe this.
That might be his best version of Sun Family.
Yeah,
you don't run that. Just don't even.
All right, and then next we have Regen, another team that didn't get a lot of love with this patch, but they
What
have
do
a
you
lot.
what do you mean a lot of love? Regen just a couple of months ago didn't have half their
No,
roster.
I'm saying yeah, they didn't really need any upgrades right now, but I think this guy is literally just a staple on every single Regen team that you're going to be seeing from now on.
Yeah, this
Like
card is
this
nuts.
guy is he's really good, and he has a barrier, and he heals. Like eh, he replaces Green Piccolo easily, and he has a double buff for Regen, as if they didn't have enough of that.
He's also Ultimate Gohan, who's a good card. Ultimate
Yeah,
Gohan's a very good card, and he's literally got Ultimate Gohan's kit built in,
yeah, and then I mean you got
but better. He's literally Ultimate Gohan, but better, minus the
yeah.
cover rescue.
I mean, you guys see the typical Perfect Cell, Piccolo, and Zamasu team that people usually run for Regen. I think
Yeah,
this guy easily replaces Piccolo. It's not even close.
yeah. I think the thing with the Piccolo is people like to run Piccolo for the double heal.
Hmm.
But Regen's biggest issue for the longest time until Cell and Slug came out was the damage output.
Yeah,
And Ultimate Gohan absorbed Boo is going to be a nuts damage unit. So I think he's a better unit for sure as a blue. That doesn't mean you can't run Piccolo because he still has a solid Z ability. But
yeah,
other than that, yeah, you just dip him.
yeah. All right, so that's pretty
I guess though, if you're
self-explanatory.
going to run a bench, you'd probably run Fat Boo though, for the record,
Fat, but yeah,
or
you get
Janemba.
yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. There's so many double buffs. Like even the Super Boo has double buff for
Yeah,
5 stars. Like this team has
yeah.
so many double buffs. That's why whenever you guys queue into a Regen team, they always have like 2,400 ability boosts. Like nuts.
Regen's nuts.
Yeah. All right. Next we have Sagas in the movies, and this sort of goes hand in hand with this green tag, just because this is focusing more on this EX Janemba, the yellow one. And what's funny is if you look at this, this is the green Z ability. He actually has a green Z ability all the way through to 3 stars, which includes Sagas, which is why I have this pulled up here.
To 5 star, yeah.
But basically, what the reasoning behind him being yellow is that you run a mono yellow team, and then the counter to yellow is purple, but then Janemba then counters the purple unit. So, I
Yeah, you
mean,
run the mono green. You said yellow. My bad.
oh you run mono green, and
So
then
nobody gets confused.
yeah, you run mono green, and then if your opponent tries to counter it with purple, Janemba counters that purple unit.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, this Vegeta is still a very very good unit. So
Yeah. Well, what I was saying earlier when we were looking at Frieza Force was, I mean, when you're running Frieza Force, you put that guy in the team, and the green Frieza picks up an insane double defense buff.
yeah, uh huh.
So,
I mean, you could even go with something like Kaba, Vegeta, Janemba as the three, and then just pick up a bunch of green bench units to buff them.
and green has some really good EX units too. Yamcha and Turles are good.
Yeah, I mean, you could even go with Mai, just because she's an absurd unit too. Like she doesn't buff green, but she's just always good.
Yeah. You can also do Cooler or Broly for that movie buff for the Janemba. The only issue with the Janemba is until 5 star, he's not getting any buffs. So you kind of have to
Yeah,
play around
I
that, I
mean, you could
guess.
put Janemba and then do Cooler and then Broly, and then
Yeah.
also do something like just like Vegeta, Yamcha, and like this Goku because they all buff green.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of flexibility with this. This guy is similar to this TN in a way, because this TN is supposed to be used on mono red, but
Yeah.
his Z
But he starts
ability,
off at red though, but he picks up
yeah,
green. It's the inverse.
yeah. So he buffs strike defense for green and red, and the reasoning
Really, it's
it's the
the
same
great
exact
Saiyaman
yeah,
card.
it's the same exact reasoning behind the Janemba is like he'd be used on mono red,
Yep.
with a green color counter on the team. But that is pretty much it. We pretty much covered everything. Um,
Woo!
is there anything else you want to talk about or mention?
No, these units just keep getting more and more OP at this point. There's not much you
Yeah,
can really do about it.
yeah,
Um,
they'll just keep getting the power creep is I wouldn't say it's out of hand, but it's definitely
these
definitely
units are just
visible.
wild.
Yeah,
They're so there's not really much else to say other than have fun.
yeah, have fun. Yeah, um,
Have fun fighting them too, because yeah,
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of changes in the meta right now, so it's a big time. It's a probably one of the best times to be playing the game, honestly. So
yeah.
hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out Dfree. I'll leave his channel in a pinned comment or something. And definitely check out part one if you guys haven't already. And I'll see you guys all in the next one.